now with straight facts. I don't lie in my raps. Hunter Biden smoke. The Democrats know that. Biden ain't win jack. The name is Barack. He a little B like the pack. The earth might be flat.
Welcome back to another episode of Andrew Says. Remember, I wouldn't lie to you, except for maybe this once. We're free of beard. We're free of hair. We've got our wrap snacks right here. Pose for the thumbnail. There it is. Canadian Conservative Party. We're jumping right into it. You know, they're crashing and burning. Could have told you this a couple of years ago. Canadian Conservative Party crashing and burning all around us. You know, you've got them condemning people, disavow, Slava Ukrainia, and all that other good stuff. Please don't forget to go to andrewsaystv.com or like and share this podcast. A few of Canadian Conservative MPs met with this European member of Parliament called Christine Anderson. Now, this is somehow controversial. People were praising her last year when in the European Parliament, which is, you know, a sham as it is, but she was, you know, taking a crap all over Trudeau in European Parliament, along with, I think it was a Croatian member of European Parliament, and she said that Trudeau shouldn't even be allowed to speak at the European Parliament over his handling of the Freedom Convoy and lockdowns and, of course, the freezing of bank accounts. She called him a disgrace for any democracy. So this is the person that they're condemning these MPs from Canada for voting or for meeting with. And here's what she said last year. A prime minister who openly admires the Chinese basic dictatorship, who tramples on fundamental rights by persecuting and criminalizing his own citizens as terrorists just because they dared to stand up to his perverted concept of democracy, should not be allowed to speak in this house at all. This is what Anderson said. So 3 MPs met with him, or with her, and they were condemned for it. It's Colin Carey, Leslie Lewis, and another guy whose name I forget his first name. It's where is his name here? Colin Carey, Leslie Lewis, and Dean Allison. Sorry for the delay there. Pregnant pause, they call it in radio. Dean Allison is the guy. So they met with her. Christine Anderson, supposedly a far-right racist, and these were the critiques of her last year. This is from Brian Lilly, and we'll get to Brian Lilly. We will get to Brian Lilly. But he said, critics have accused her of being part of a right-wing movement in Europe that's been criticized for her not wearing a mask in Parliament and committee meetings in 2021. Sound the alarms, right? No mask wearing in a giant open space of this European Parliament. But that's not what they're talking about here. They made a press release that Brian Lilly said, and he was accused by, you know, the sycophants of the Conservative Party, that he put out a statement that was not real. They said that this statement that he got from Poilievre and the Conservative Party was not real, and he was posting like a text version of it. And they said they really wanted to believe that it wasn't real. But then they came out with a statement here, and this is what it says. Dean Allison, MP for Niagara West, Glenbrook, Colin Carey, MP for Oshawa, and Leslie Lewis, Member of Parliament for Haldimand, Norfolk, released the following statement. It is, of course, not uncommon for members of Parliament to meet with visiting elected officials from other countries. During a visit, we recently met with an elected representative of European Parliament while she was in Canada. We were not aware of the views or associations of her and her political party. We do not share or endorse her views and strongly condemn any views that are racist or hateful. So they're not really saying that she's racist or hateful. They're just saying that they condemn her views, and at the same time, we condemn any racist or hateful views. So it's a big cop-out, a big cuck here. You meet with a person. I don't know why you'd be meeting with a person whose views you didn't know at all. They would never do that in the first place. And if it wasn't for her anti-Trudeau statements and all this other stuff that she said and done, along with being with these Diagolon guys, why would you even go? Why would you go to, and let's just stick to the politician here, because people from different groups can just show up to a thing. But why would you go and meet a politician if you had no idea? Like, what would be the reason to go and meet this woman if you had no idea what she says or what she stands for? That's like saying, are you just going to be pictured with a random politician you've never seen, and on the off chance and take a meeting with them on the off chance that they might be hateful or something. No, they knew about her. They knew what she said, and they thought she said great things about Trudeau, so they thought it'd be safe to meet with her. And then once the party was like, no, what are you guys doing? Then they're like, oh, we disavow. The chant started going in the back from the nerds of the Conservative Party, disavow. And that's what the Conservative Party is these days. They're in a complete free fall. I've seen the people who work for them. They're complete nerds. And like, I'm not trying to be mean when I say that, but you know a losery dude when you meet one, okay? That's all I'm saying. Like, you know, like this nerd who's offended by these things. He wants everyone to like him, and as soon as something is said on Twitter, then they start following them, and that's what happened. And Pierre Poilievre is in just this giant free fall here. Their party and their staunch supporters in the mainstream right-wing media are just falling. They're falling so hard. I remember like they're going to Our Lady Peace concerts. That's how hard they're falling. And people are starting to notice that Pierre Poilievre and these guys in the media aren't that different. Now, I could say I've been saying this for 2 years, which I have been, dude. But people are all starting to notice that there's not this big of a difference. Poilievre didn't talk about lockdowns. He didn't talk about vaccine mandates. He didn't talk about quarantine hotels. He didn't talk about, pretty much anything until the trucker protest came out and ArriveCan stuff came out. And then he realized, hey, I could use this to take over the party now and gain grassroots support for my bid to become prime minister. And people are going to forget about the fact that I haven't done anything. It had been at least 7 years since he had introduced any bills into Parliament, which means he's not really doing his job. And all he really did, and this is what I criticized him for, was make quick quips at Trudeau from Parliament and make YouTube and Twitter videos out of them. And that's what basically Parliament is now, is the days everybody agrees to show up on a day. If Trudeau is going to be there, it's probably that day. And they all have their little quips. The Liberals read from their scripts because they know nobody's going to show their side anyways. Nobody's going to criticize it. And then the Conservatives all make their sharp-tongued jabs at Trudeau, and then they clip that and they put that on their YouTube and they say, look what I'm doing, look how great I'm doing. And that's what's still happening, and people are finally trying to, call them out for it, and they're finally waking up to it, to not use a tired term. But people are also noticing that when it comes to topics like the Russian-Ukrainian war, that these conservative leaders and the conservative media members are exactly the same as everybody else. Doug Ford, Pierre Poilievre, the Toronto Sun, even some independent people, which I'll mention. And they're noticing that they're not actually different. People have been trying to tell some of these, Twitter personalities that, you shouldn't be throwing all your eggs into this Conservative Party basket because they're basically the same. They don't stand up for anything against the Trudeau government. They don't get anything passed. Not that they really can in this situation, but historically, gun laws, they've never advanced that at all. Free speech laws, they've never advanced that at all. They're the exact same on immigration laws, which is 500,000 people a year, which is insane given our population. It's insane for any country, really. No other country does that besides the United States. So people are starting to recognize this. And the Ukraine stuff, which is like this weird, culty thing where it's like, if you don't support Ukraine, which is an obviously corrupt country if you were born before yesterday, then you must love Vladimir Putin. It's basically the whole Trump-Russia thing now, but they've replaced Trump with Ukraine. And, Trump's a politician who stands for a lot of things, but Ukraine is a country where they sort of have applied all these labels to. So they've applied the labels of freedom and democracy and defending your homeland and everything, which is supposed to be bad over here, by the way. Defending yourself and, being super pro, super pro-liberty and freedom and justice is frowned upon around here, and defending your border frowned upon in North America. But in Ukraine, they've applied all these labels to it, and they say, hey, this is amazing, why don't we give them billions of dollars? And if you oppose that or disagree with it in some way, you raise your hand, you say, we'll tell you that you're actually in favor of Vladimir Putin. So, weird thing going on there. If you follow me at all, and probably agree with this Ukraine stance. But the most hilarious thing to me is people like Poilievre and Doug Ford who say Trudeau sucks all day long, Ford doesn't really say it anymore. He gave up on that. But Poilievre says Trudeau sucks all day long. And then he goes and sides with him on this. And this was the funniest thing that that Pierre Poilievre puts out. So 6:30 p.m., Pierre Poilievre posts this on Twitter. My team forced Trudeau to pause his ban on 12-year-old trucks. Sign our petition to make sure he doesn't try it again. So Trudeau sucks, right? You know, the whole thing he's running on, Trudeau is the worst guy ever. 3 hours later, he's at a rally with Trudeau and Doug Ford basically being like, you know, Trudeau may suck, but giving money to Ukraine is more important than that, and I must stand. You know, you shouldn't believe Trudeau about anything. But when it comes to giving money and supporting a war in another country, this is one thing we can be on the same side as. So, not 3 hours later, I can't tell you exactly when this rally was, but it appears to be that he's on his way to this rally, telling you that Trudeau sucks, only to be standing next to him at this rally with Doug Ford. And let's hear what he said here.
Please welcome a friend of Ukraine, who we had the pleasure of meeting at the Holodomor Memorial in November. The Honorable Pierre Poilievre, leader of the official opposition, leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. Joining him will be Melissa Landsman, deputy leader of the official opposition, member of Parliament for Thornhill, and also Anna Roberts, MP for King Vaughan. Merci beaucoup et slava Ukraini!
So, already, so he's got two people, Melissa Landsman and this other woman, non-Ukrainian people, I don't think, I could be wrong, but non-Ukrainian people, because you can kind of, there's a lot of Ukrainian people where I grew up, and I'm not going to say, like, you shouldn't like your country, and you shouldn't support your country being invaded, you know, like, I'm not going to say, like, how dare you support the country your family's from, but you've got two people who are conservatives, also not Ukrainian, to the best of my knowledge. Again, I could be wrong. But they're coming up, and he's saying, Slavia Ukraini, and the crowd's chanting back at him. This is basically a war rally. And he just came from saying, you know, sign this petition because Trudeau sucks, but also, let's come together on this war that we can support. There's only like 10 seconds more.
A year ago today, a vicious dictator launched an unjustified, illegal, and unprovoked attack on an innocent people and a sovereign country. He thought that it would be over in days.
That's where it ends, and that's pretty much his stance always when he talks about Russia. I looked up his statement from the same day. He says 1 year ago, Russian aggression took on the new form of evil with the unprovoked invasion of Ukraine. You know, asterisks there. Throughout this war, we've seen the unshakable resistance of Ukrainian people. Asterisks there. Canada must always stand for freedom and democracy in the face of evil tyrants. Huge asterisks there. So I just don't understand. I don't understand how you can go from Trudeau man bad 3 hours later to Trudeau man good, and just be praising a war, doing a war rally. That's literally what it is. You've got three of the most powerful people in the country in Trudeau, Poilievre, and Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, rallying over with a certain, you know, nationality, ethnic group of people in support of a neighboring country or against a neighboring country. You're doing a war rally for a country across the world. It doesn't make any sense. Imagine if three Canadian politicians got together from different parties and supported the Iraq war, and you had all these people cheering in the crowd. It would be considered crazy, but none of the news is covering Poilievre being there, because when you do stuff that they like, they're going to cover your ass for you. They're not going to say, how dare he? They're going to say, you know, what can we do to help you? And what they can do to help him is not mention that he's there. Now, a lot of these people have, and by people, I mean people in the media and pundits, have a problem with anyone questioning stuff about Ukraine. And like I said, it's like this weird cult of people who aren't even Ukrainian. I'm going to understand if a Russian person defends Russia, or if a Ukrainian person says, you know, Russia's invading me, I'm going to stand up for my country. I don't care how corrupt they are. These are my people in my country. I'm going to understand that. But when you're random people on the internet who don't answer to somebody other than, like, you know, an editor, you don't have to talk about Ukraine. Nobody's saying go out there and and if you don't talk about Ukraine, we're going to hate you. Maybe the editors are, I don't know. But my point is, like, you don't have to inject yourself into this. It's very easy not to. A lot of people don't. And they have a problem with anyone pointing out the criticisms of this, just like COVID. It's the same reaction. If you were to go online 2 years ago and talk about masks or efficacy vaccines or side effects or lockdowns or anything of that nature, and be like, I don't agree with the mainstream narrative, people were going to jump on you, call you anti-science and all this other stuff. Just like if you defended Trump, people were going to call you hateful, bigoted. But that should be the name of a podcast, Hateful Bigoted. You heard it here first. But some of these people, like you point stuff out to people like Brian Lilly, and they're going to say you're insane. Another person who I'm going to talk about, because he's one of the biggest people talking about this, is Spencer Fernando. Now, I like Spencer Fernando. I've spoken to him on my old show a couple of times. But, he is exercising some really bad judgment here, and I don't think he's going to be able to come back from it. I think this is a grave mistake, and, I'm not close with the guy, but like I said, I liked him as a person. But this is, the way in which these people and him are dying on this hill. It's insane to me. And he's doing this whole thing where it's like, unfollow me if you don't like this opinion. I've never understood that angle from anybody. It means they're really worked up. Because anytime where I've thought about, like, I don't want somebody who believes in this to follow me, I've been pretty worked up about a topic. But he's going full, I'm going to delete my Facebook. Those people, I can't handle the drama of Facebook. I'm deleting That's how he's acting. And he's got these series of tweets out there. And one of them was, if you really think Zelensky is a WEF puppet, World Economic Forum puppet, biolab, coke addict, blah, blah, blah. This is what he wrote. Feel free to unfollow me. It's an absolutely foolish and absurd narrative. No need to waste our time arguing about it. And he's posting the Ukrainian flag. Once again, I don't believe he's Ukrainian. And then he's backing up. It is literally an ass kissing what he's doing here to Pierre Poilievre. He says, Poilievre is showing significant political leadership here, speaking up for the values and freedom of democracy upon which Canada is built and for which Ukraine is fighting so bravely. This is the most half-assed, just like vomiting into your keyboard excuse for a position. If you don't support this is what Canada's founded on, and these are the values we stick up for, and we're going to ignore anything and everything that we possibly can about Ukraine. And when people point these things out and say how wrong you are, when your followers are all saying how wrong you are, it's probably a sign that you're straying away from stuff. And I think it's going to be hard to come back from this. I mean, you got Vladimir Zelensky, and the number of Ys you put in shows your Pledge of Allegiance, basically. I mean, just off the top of my head that I wrote down, he did that weird sexual dancing stuff on some show and some bondage with several other dudes in high heels and stuff. Red flag number 1. Banned all the media companies once the war started. Banned all other political parties. Banned an Orthodox church. They have literal neo-Nazis in the military that they fund, and they're okay with fighting on their side because it helps. Al-Qaeda comes to help them sometimes. And then 17 other red flags, like he's supported by Biden, loved by Mitch McConnell, loved by Nancy Pelosi, Mitt Romney, Lindsey Graham, Chuck Schumer, all the people you'd normally be like, hey, it's probably not a good sign that they're all for this thing. Establishment conservatives and crooked Democrats, who are all the same people, are usually in it for the money and don't align with anybody who usually believes what conservatives actually believe in. And you're just like, this is the greatest democracy. This is the greatest democracy in the world over in Ukraine. Zelensky's the greatest guy. He's standing up for everything we believe in. If you don't like him, then you're a piece of trash, basically. Unfollow me. I mean, it's pushed by the entire liberal media and establishment conservatives. Where can we go wrong here? So it's really sad to watch. With, Poilievre takes this big hit, and then his loyalist people in the media, I don't know why they have to stick by him so much. If Donald Trump, or I don't know, name whoever you want that you think I support. Just name politician Z, okay? Or Z, even. Politician Z. If he comes out and says, I hate white people, or I hate sports, or, something that's like, I hate Andrew says, I'm not going to be like, you know what? I'm still showing up for him. I'm still coming front row for him. I don't understand what the need is to support these bad positions by Poilievre. I really don't. Like, he didn't say anything for 2 years, and then he starts speaking up, and then like the Ukraine stuff, and he's not actually that different than Trudeau, it turns out, and they're just still like, I need that seat on the Canadian Conservative Party bus when... I mean, that's what it is. They want to be part of the cool guys club. The problem is the cool guys club is actually really lame. And that's what you're going to have to that's what these people have to deal with. I don't have to deal with that. I think it's possible to be like, non-lame and fun and smart and all the things that I think I am, and not kiss people's ass. Like, you can be two things. You can be more than once. You don't have to submit yourself to the larger party just because you think that's what's going to benefit you in the long run. You don't have to do that. It's like the people, and I see this in some of the comments where people say, I'm not voting for Poilievre anymore because of this sort of stuff. And then people say, well, who else are you going to vote for? You're going to let the Liberals win. If everybody votes the correct way, in theory, then that person will win. If you just rely on people not knowing things and going with that answer that the mob is going with, then you're going to get crappy results. It's like saying there's an answer to, there's 2 + 2 = 4, but the rest of the people are going to write the test. They're going to say it equals 5. And because I want to be part of the group and not say anybody's wrong, I'm just going to say that it equals 5. And God bless us all, because now we all feel good about ourselves. That's what that argument is. And it's so strange that people are going to die on this hill of a country for a war. Imagine you just died on the hill of the Iraq war, or died on the hill of the Syrian war, of Libya, all these other things. Died on the... It's stupid to die on these hills. You're dying on the hill of Big Pharma. That's where you're going to die on the hill of. You're dying on the hill of we must send billions of dollars to Ukraine when we have unlimited problems here. These are where you're going to die on the hill. Just because you want to be on that bus full of creepy weirdos, I'm sorry, nerds in the Conservative Party. That's what they are. And Matt Walsh is under fire for being too mean, and people say John Doyle's too mean when he goes out and makes fun of people at the Women's March, blah, 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 blah. But at some point, it's either Revenge of the Nerds or the cool people take over. And if you're one of these people who, you just want Revenge of the Nerds scenario, then good luck to you, fight your fight. But I'm not just going to be like, yeah, the loser kids are right. You can call it bullying if you want, but when you get this level of, of ass kissing and cowardiceness, both men and women are not going to like that. When confronted with it, people who are, who pay for things, who pay taxes, who are loyal followers online of things, they're not going to like it. When you just go to ass kissing mode, you're not going to like it, whether you're left or right wing. If you look at people who, if you like the Young Turks or something, if you do, God bless you, or Hassan Piker, who I don't think is with them anymore, but he's one of the biggest left-wing guys. Kyle Kalinske, that nerd too. If you look at the followers of these people, they like them because they take hard stances on their whatever it is. People don't watch the Young Turks because Cenk rolls over and dies on top, rolls over and dies on his own beliefs. They like him because he stands up for his own beliefs, not, Barack Obama and Joe Biden are the greatest people. Same thing with what's his face? I forget his name. He used to be on the Young Turks. He's not anymore. He's on Tucker. Forgetting his name right now. But a lot of these most popular people, the people that, they really set their watch to, they don't just go, oh, Donald Trump said something I disagree with, but I still love him even if he said something I directly, disagree with. If Donald Trump died, that's why he lost so many fans over vaccine stuff. Because when somebody you really believe in, and I'm not speaking about myself, I know I'm giving that little, I have a friend, but when somebody says something that big, like this is the greatest vaccine ever, they couldn't do it. They said that I couldn't do it. They said I couldn't make the vaccine. There's my hands. Probably the greatest vaccine. when somebody takes a big turn like that and you don't have to still do that. That's all I'm saying. And it's normal for people to turn off of you if you do that. So Spencer, I wish you all the best. Brian Willie, I don't like you. But if you guys are just gonna, go along with whatever it is, stupid things, like it's stupid as a person who doesn't have anything to gain out of this war to be like, I vehemently stand on one of these sides with this country that has all these problems, Russia with all these problems. If you're like, I don't get it, man. Like, I don't get the dying on this hill, but we'll move on. We'll take a hard 180. Please go to andrewsaystv.com. Please subscribe. We've got the Migos wrap snacks, sour cream with a dab of ranch. Now, I haven't tried these ones. Last night, I tried the Little Baby cheddar and a sour cream. They were very good. I'm not getting paid, but if Wrap Snacks wants to show me out, I'm going to show them out back. We're going to take a hard 180 into, something more ridiculous. There are so many stories this week about, a middle-aged transgender man playing cricket against 12-year-old women. We're going to blow past that. What else? There are giant boob teachers saying that his boobs are real. We're going to blow past that. Something that really spoke to me came across my desk yesterday, and that was, it was Walmart people at Walmart refusing to have their receipts checked. People at Walmart refused to have their receipts checked if you didn't know. Like me, if you really don't want your receipt checked, you're going to keep walking, and the grandma or grandpa, who's very sweet, who's checking these, is probably not going to come after you. Probably not going to come running after you. Neither is the young person when they realize how little their job pays. And it's largely symbolic, along with the greeters and all that sort of stuff. But there are people who are taking this to great lengths on both sides. There's people who think that, it's a travesty that somebody's checking your receipt. And it's also a travesty that this person doesn't want you to check the receipt. So I see the positives and the negatives from both sides. So let's go ahead and watch some of these, and let's see how it feels to be, fighting for freedom.
Right, so obviously I can't leave Walmart without showing a receipt for my case of water and my little Pringles can right here. Two associates right here. So what law is that? that I have to show a receipt?
It's our job. If it's not in a bag, we have to see a receipt.
Aren't they supposed to put stickers on
am I
it for that
breaking the law
reason?
by not showing you my receipt? Are you impeding my movement to freely go? Are you violating my constitutional rights right now over a damn receipt?
I worked here 15 years.
I don't care how long you work here.
I had to show my receipt.
Well, I mean, that's your choice.
What problem do you have with showing your receipt?
Well, I mean, are you suspecting me of stealing this?
Well, I don't know whether you paid for that or not.
Well, you can go check the cameras.
I cannot go check the cameras.
Well, then you can call your loss prevention, or you can call the code 10 up here.
Oh no, he knows the code numbers. She's looking around.
I don't like being criminalized.
Criminalized.
Well, we have to check everyone's receipt.
That's full
I don't
shit.
think they check everyone's receipt.
That's her job.
That's crap. That's crap.
That's crap.
Because then you have to have an ID to buy milk, and I'm not okay with that. The America I live in, we're innocent until proven guilty.
I can't believe this is... You know how many views this has? 216,000 views. And more coming.
So am I free to go?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on anyway.
I mean, she wanted my receipt for my case of water and my chips.
See,
So
there
just
was
pay
your
for it at the
chance,
self-checkout.
There was your chance to just leave. She said, I don't know what the problem is anywhere. Most people would say, okay, cool, I'm going to get out while they're not watching here, even though I haven't committed any crimes. But he wants to stick around. Let's move on to the next one.
No, I don't. No.
This one's got 2.8 million views.
Would you like to show me the law? Is
Guy
there
in a
law?
parking lot getting
This is
chased.
private property. I don't even have to let you shop here.
That's my private property now
No,
that
it's not.
I purchased it.
You know what? And we purchased all that freight that was inside.
That's fine, but
Yeah.
what's in that?
So you can show your receipt if you have a problem with that.
But I'm not. Here, I have my receipt.
Dang, that's all you have to do.
Okay.
So why
No, I showed her the receipt like this. But I mean, you go speak with Jeanette.
You gotta speak with
Because
Jeanette.
I said that you.
All he did was show that he possesses a receipt. That could be any receipt from anything, and this woman's saying, "Oh, that's fine." So it wasn't actually about, seeing if he actually bought this stuff. It was actually about, you must do what I say.
I said no. Like this is I'm not going to hand her my receipt. Everything that's in that truck and that was in that buggy is my private property now.
But you know what? It's actually not your private
Yes, it
property.
is.
No. This right here is what we paid for. All
But
she asked you to
and
do
that
is
right
show
there
her
is what
receipt.
I paid for.
And you know what? I'm protecting my stuff.
I'm protecting my stuff. That is
No,
my
you're not.
property.
This is my property.
See that?
And I got more property than that.
$215?
Fabulous.
That's
All
my
you
property.
Have to do is show her.
I did. I showed her. But I'm not going to hand her anything.
No, and took off.
This is my private property, and you
Did
could
you?
all of y'all get the fuck out of my face.
No, we called
Okay?
cops.
You can call the police. Call the police. I encourage you to call the police. Okay? I'll even give you my address, and they can come to my house because my son's in there.
See,
I
that's
did.
the thing. All you have to do is just show her your. That's all you had.
There
Were
are
not
5
bad.
people out
That's-
here
that's-
from
that's a
Walmart.
you
Not
problem.
bad.
Then
No,
get
it's not.
bigger
4 or 5
bags.
people
No,
out
it's
here
not.
to,
Because
to
I don't
show him
legally,
why
I do
he's
not
being
have to.
bad.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Okay, what law
This
is
our
that?
stuff.
It's in our.
It's my stuff.
So you.
Do you have it?
See, this is the problem here. You got 2 sets of people who are wrong. Walmart's people says this is our stuff. We have to die to protect it. But if people know the law, you're not allowed to, stop people from leaving with stolen merchandise until they go to the door. But you have to have a reason to think that it was stolen. So you see them on camera, they're shoving stuff. You know that old commercial where the guy's putting meat all in his his trench coat, and then it's all scanned. You thought he was going to steal it. You have to be going for the door with the stolen merchandise. Otherwise, people who are just carrying around stuff can be accused of stealing. So unless they have some sort of reasonable, premise to think that this guy's stealing, then you can't just, it's not the law to be like, you have to show me your receipt. I mean, I could be wrong about this. I have not yet completed law school. But, and then there's these people who are just like, I refuse to do it. And I get that side. I really do get that side. But at this point, either just leave, like you're doing all this talk, just leave, or just show them the receipt. There's really 2 choices in this for me. Because otherwise you're doing this for your own, showboating. You're recording it, of course, for your own safety, you can argue. But either show the receipt and tell them to leave you alone, or just, if you don't actually care, just leave, put your stuff in your car and leave. I don't think these people are going to apprehend you and stop you, personally, because then they're committing crimes by doing that. Forcibly confining you and stuff like that. If he really wanted to, he could just drive away. They could call the police, tell them his license plate number, they'll show up at his house, he'll be like, here's my receipt, and then that'd be it, as far as I'm concerned. But this goes so far, and now we got a Canadian one. This one's got 66,000 views. It's from Canadian Rights Media, and this is just a guy who's like, it's called Canadian Rights Audit, Walmart Receipt Refusal. Calgary, Alberta.
Don't have to show a receipt. Keep going. You're a real jerk. Excuse me?
So he said, nope, keep going, and then the Walmart greeter guy called him a jerk.
Tell me something. Why would you?
So now they're gonna. Now this guy came back to argue.
What right do you have to call me a jerk?
I apologize, I shouldn't. Now, let me ask you something. See the sign over there? Did you read it? About,
What right do you have to call me a jerk?
I just told you I apologize. Okay?
I don't
See, this is
have
what
to
I
show
mean.
you
This guy calls him a jerk, fine, he's wrong. You could have just went home. He wasn't coming after him, but he went back to argue with this guy who's probably 60 years old, who works at Walmart. So he either, not where he wants to be in life, or something happened with his savings. Trudeau probably took it from him. And then he's got to work at Walmart. I'm not trying to make fun of him, but this is reality. I know he doesn't want to be working there unless he's one of that tiny fraction of people who's like, I really like being a Walmart greeter. Just fine if you do. If you like your job, then do it. And then he apologizes, and you're like, you know what? You don't have. What right do you have? We're going to cut to the last part here. We didn't actually cut. I just clapped anyways. And we're going to play a game called Would This Be Allowed Today? Maybe this will be a recurring theme. One of my former producers sent me this, and I'm not going to say his name, but if he's watching, he knows. WWE promo, early 2000s, The Undertaker and a guy who was pegged as a terrorist, but he wasn't actually a terrorist. His name is Muhammad Hassan. Would this be allowed today in 2023? I'm pretty sure they end up crucifying The Undertaker. That might be a different segment. Would that be allowed today? Thank you guys for watching. AndrewSaysTV.com. Follow my writing. Follow my podcast, Unauthorized Opinions, at uopod.com. Like, share, subscribe, give us a rating. Rap snacks, they're wonderful. At least the ones I tried are. Good night. I wouldn't lie to you. Except for maybe this once. Holy shit.